So your footage feeling a little too sharp and you want to get that vintage 70s or 80s vibe, and grain isn't cutting it for you. You want to level it up a little bit. Well, might I suggest that you try a little chromatic aberration. The effect produced by the refraction of different wavelengths of light through slightly different angles, resulting in a failure to focus. So basically everything that you're seeing on me right now, it's a little too much. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about the chromatic aberration vignette. The first time I noticed this effect was on the show Sex Ed on Netflix. And what I really liked about how it was done is that it was just a subtle thing on the edge of frame that just added to the overall texture of the image. And let's jump right in. So I have my shot here. This is from a commercial I did last year or year before. And I'm using this shot because we have all of these fluorescent lights up here, and there's just a lot of stuff in the image that we can use to see this effect. So let's just find a nice frame, park it there. And right, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go option. I have my grade. I'm using film box to just give it a kind of a film look. I will talk about that in another video. Right, so jumping right in, I'm going to show you two ways to do this effect, right? So we're going to option S to add a new serial node. And then in the effects tab, you're going to check out Prism Blur and drag that onto your clip. And you'll see that basically this is the chromatic aberration right here. And it's that simple. No. So you're going to kind of dial back. You can dial up and down the blur, strength. Aberration distance is how much it affects the image, right? And so I tend to drag it very, very subtle, literally just kind of there. And then in terms of the aberration strength, we could take the aberration strength up, so it's like a really prominent effect, and you can see in the image now that we have all of this green sort of magenta splitting happening, this sort of cyan here. So we're getting the aberration. It's happening. It looks very 80s video. And literally all we need to do now is just pop on a power window. So you click on your power window tab and you click circle, and you can pull a sort of an oval shape here, right? Over the people, we're going to invert using the invert button here. And now you can see that the effect has been inverted. I'll soften up the edges a little bit, right? And so now when you toggle it on and off, you have your effects basically. You would just want to then hit the tracker, hit this button that tracks back and forth, and you can track your main characters back and forth, right? I don't need to do the whole take. You'll get the idea, right? And yeah, so we'll see here that now we have the effect happening on the image, right? And it does quite a lot for it. And as I said, you could, I'm just trying to move this thing. Right, as I said, you could, adjust the blur strength. Blurring it too much is obviously, it's kind of a lot. You kind of keep that very low. The aberration distance, you want to also keep just like very subtle. Unless you want, this, it could be cool for like a tripped out, drug out effect. But just like somewhere right there, just where you now start to feel it happening very subtly in the image. And what I like about this is that it, just these little things are just things that you could add into your grade to get just a little bit more focus on where you want the audience's attention. So you would have, a power window with this. You then stack another power window with an exposure adjustment. Little things, like I like to do a variety of little things like this in grades to sort of draw the viewer's eye. And then I just really love how this feels on the edge of frame. It just kind of like gives a little bit more character to the lens. If you shot on a really sharp camera with sharp lenses, it just sort of adds a little something to it. I quite like it, and I've been using it quite a bit in recent jobs since I decided to try it out. Okay, so that's the Prism Blur version, and now I'm going to show you a different version. So what I could do is I'll pop this out, and we'll create another serial node, or option S, and drag this green thing here to the end of the time, right? So now we have, we have the node connected back to the, everything connects back, right? So option Option S, new node, new serial node again, connect back to here, get back a grade, right? And now in the effects tab, you're gonna search lens distortion, and you're gonna grab that on. Now immediately you're gonna see that it like warps the whole image. Not too fair. Just drag this right here up until it sort of sets in place, right? I'm sure you could like dial it exactly, but sort of there. And now what you do is you uncheck the RGB, have same distortions, and now you could actually just, I mean, you could go really far, but you can manually sort of slide, you know, the red distortion, the green distortion, and the blue distortion where you want it to be, right? So you could kind of really dial in this effect with which color you want to be most prominent in it, whether it's yellow and blue, or the sort of cyan, sorry, the green and magenta, or the cyan and red kind of look, right? So let's just say there for now. Maybe pull this back a touch. And so again, you see it's happening all on the red here and on the blue. And so we kind of have that effect dialed in. So let's toggle this on and off so you can see this is, well, in this version, let's push it a little bit for the sake of YouTube, and let's push it a lot. Yeah, so on and off, that's the, right? And as I said, you could also, if you wanted to adjust this mask, you could here somewhere. Oh right, I didn't power window. Right, so all right, so guys, so you've gotten your effect more or less, you've gotten your aberration, and again, same thing. You're gonna click here on your mask tool, hit the circle mask, invert the circle, and pull it over your characters or wherever you desire, or wherever you want to have not affected. Soften it out a bit, right? And there you go. You have your characters are clean, but just on the outside of them, you have this really nice aberration happening, and I think it adds a whole lot to the effect. And yeah, it adds a lot to the image. So you could toggle that on and off, or you could see this is the first version. Oops, delete that. So Prism blur, right? Prism blur in all of its subtle. Oh, it's very subtle. Hold on. Wait, no, I don't know. Yeah, you see it. It's just sort of pulling and warping the edges of the frame, right? So yeah, those are the two chromatic aberration vignette sort of techniques that I've been using on a bunch of my projects recently. Give it a try. Let me know if you think it's useful. Yeah, try it out on the next video. And yeah, drop a comment, hit a like, give me a subscribe if you like this sort of content. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff like this, so if you're interested in seeing more stuff like this, I'll be doing a lot of things in DaVinci. I'll be talking about cinematography and lighting. I'll be talking about directing, just film in general, and other things. So I'll see you guys in the next one.